Good morning. It's 10. Look at the top. It's 10:40 a.m. Making another little screenshot here for you. These again are my quotes. This is my phone. I pulled over for a minute. Getting ready to go help somebody do some work. Let's look here. These are just stocks I look at and some futures contracts I look at. Kind of give me a bearing of what's going on. So down there, the E-mini. I'm trading futures. Let's grab that. Okay, so I'm going to show you this. This is, look down at the very bottom in kind of blue, 60M. That means each of these bars represent 60 minutes, okay? I'm going to try to go to 15 minute. You can kind of see how, let me show you here. I'm zooming in. Yesterday, you see down there 07 right there to the right? That's the 7th when it starts. It started yesterday evening time, but over there you see those blue lines and the red line. Well, I had a trade that came down from that high mark down and took a little trade. I made about 250, I think, yesterday. Then I took a short trade. That's that red line there. It went up that little crest. It came down and I closed it at that blue dot, okay, which is just shortly after. And I can't remember what I made. A little bit of something, okay? And then I didn't have any trades. And then this morning, you can see where that red dot is. Actually, yeah, so I took two. I did two, and you see, I think it's hard for me to see it. It's so tiny, but at 277, the last three digits, I went short 2 contracts. Then I went short 2 more a little bit right after that. I'm going to zoom into 5 minutes. Let me see if I can see that a little better. There you go. So right there, about, now it says like 5:30ish. Well, on the East Coast time, that was like 7:30, I think, okay? So you see where I went short 2 contracts, I went short again 2 contracts. That means to be playing it down. My template is what told me high probability to take this signal. Of course, there's none of that on here, so you're not sure. But so anyway, that's what the stock did. It did its thing, jumped down, started doing its thing. I'm watching it, having breakfast and stuff. And there it's continued down, and here's where it's at right now, down at that far right. Look up at the top. Near the left, it says short 4. So I'm playing 4 units down. If I closed the trade right now, I would be at 41.30. That's pretty awesome, isn't it? And of course, all this is from my phone. You know, I was trying to think. I had this guy who filled out a request on my email, because if you go to my website, if you'd like to speak to me, you know, I'm more than happy to do that with people. So the gentleman in this case sent me an email. He goes, hey, you know, there's so many scams out there. Maybe I looked at your videos or whatever, but I need more proof. I can't remember. I need the win-loss ratios. I need this. He gave me a big list of things. And I remember when I first started offering my course a couple years back, I thought, okay, here's a guy who's interested. Sure, I'll get this documentation. I did it. And you know what I found out? Those people, because he says, hey, I'm very nervous and scared and whatever, something like that. And those people, no matter what you show them, they still do not believe. And so it's just an internal wiring issue they got going on. And so in this case, I'm a little smarter now. I responded to the gentleman and said, listen, I'll be glad to get on a phone call with you, but for me to get all this stuff together, they're really bad questions anyway. Who cares what the win-loss ratio is and what the other 3 or 4 things he wanted to know? It just doesn't matter. I kind of equate it to this. You know, I'm in the furniture business, for example, and I'm getting ready to hire somebody. I'm looking for a new employee, and someone shows up and says, yeah, I'd like the job, but I got a bad back. I've had back surgery. Well, do I want to hire that person, you know, and then wait hopefully 6 months or a year they can get their act together and their back heels and they can do it. No, that'd just be stupid. So I've learned now, when someone comes to trading and instantly, right up front, I'm nervous as a cat on a tin roof, I don't believe nothing, and I'm just all this stuff, I'm really skeptical about everything, then I'm saying, why? Why do I want to go try to pull that person out of such a deep mental hole? Why? There's people that come along that say, listen, I think I can learn something. To contrast that, a lady I spoke to the other day, and she calls and we're talking a little bit, same thing. And within her conversation is, I know I can learn this. I've been always interested in trading. I don't know anything about it, but I think I can learn it. My mind works that way. And in talking to her, I could see she just had a positive slant about her. And so within the next day, I believe, she signed up, starting the course already, and just happy as a lark. Versus the other person, they just are already so opposed to the whole thing, or scared to death, or worried. And I say, when someone goes to my website or somebody else's website, whoever, all these YouTube videos people watch, if you watch just a handful, 3, 4, 5 videos, and if you cannot make up your mind that you want to do that, get involved, and actually do it, okay, then that's a bad sign for you, all right? Hopefully that's not the case. Now, I know people who've told me, hey, I've been thinking about it for a couple years, and I finally decided to pull the trigger. And I say, amen. That's kind of like, someone you present the gospel to it, and they just hem-haul around forever before they can believe. Some people can't believe it. They just aren't chosen to believe it. And some people just not sure they want to commit to it. Well, it's kind of like that. So if you're a person that, don't have the gift of discernment and everything spooky and you think everybody's ripping you off, now there are rip-offs, so don't mistake me. There are people who are true rip-off cons out there in all kinds of fields. But that's where that discernment comes in. You should be able to sense that. You should be able to feel that. You should be able to see that after you listen to them and have some dialogue. If after you have some dialogue and you still feel like, oh, no, then that's your clue, okay? It's just not for you. Whether they're truthful or not, it don't fit with your mindset. So anyway, try to do something. I also told another person, I said, listen, I cannot persuade you. I'm not even interested in trying to persuade you. I will present some stuff. I'll present what I've learned, meaning that it can be done. Of course, to teach you how to trade, I have to do that in a very precise order. There's a few concepts, few principles I have to get you to understand. And I tell people, I think my job is to help you shift your thinking, okay? And there's a very particular way I do that so that you can see it. So look at this trade here. I'm kind of zooming in a little bit. How did I know? How did I know to go in there and take a short signal? Because of what I call my template. It gave me high probability that this is what's going to happen. And there you go. So it's doing its thing, and I'm making $4,350. Look up at the top there. I'm sitting on the side of the road before I go help my son do some work. Oh, let me add this before I get off of this thing. One guy I talked to goes, hey, I bought a few courses, and they just didn't turn out to be so great. I didn't do so good. Now, at this point, one is, are they crappy courses, the way they were taught and all that? Highly likely that is the case, okay? Or could it be this guy is just mentally all tied up? I'm favoring that usually it's the information and the way it was presented. There's a very specific way to get things into the brain so you can see things differently. Most people just don't do it that way, and that's it. Now that person who's already bought a few courses over the years and tried to trade a few years, he's got an extra difficult challenge because Do I go for it again? Do I go attempt to learn again? Or is it going to have the same results? You know what I mean? He's already had a few failures on his plate, and it's tougher to do it. So I'm going to jump on the phone call with him later on today and see if I can help that guy. His approach is, I've tried it, it didn't work out, a couple things, different than the guy who starts off with, oh, I'm very skeptical, I got to have documentation and proof. What kind of proof? How am I going to prove that you can do it anyway? Even if I show you I can do it, that doesn't prove to you that you can do it. You don't know until you try. So that's what I tell people, try. All right, thanks a lot. Let me just see what this trade's doing here. I'm going to go ahead and close this trade right now to show you how it works when you close it. By the way, I'll go back here and look at my balances. There you go. That's that little trade yesterday that I had, the realized one, PL. That means I made 230 on that little trade last night. And then here's that trade currently under the unrealized. If I close it right at that point, I get 47.30. I'm receiving that money. I'm not making the money. I learned how to get myself in a position to receive the money, okay? So I might have had another video that I already maybe had Tori work on. I'm not sure, so I'll say it here. Once you get good at something, you just get good and you get more comfortable. So this is Tuesday, May 7th, I think, okay? Last Wednesday I made 2,500. The next day I made about 2,500, real close. The next day I think I made about $1,000. Sunday, because the futures start over the weekend, I made $5,000 Sunday. And then Monday, there's that 230 I made on that little trade, and right now I'm making the 49.10. Is that pretty awesome? Let's go back and look at it. Okay, there we are, 4,600, 4,690. I think this thing might be a $5,000 trade here, and I might close it on that. Let's see, I'm letting you see them. I'm just sitting here waiting a minute. So I got in at 7:30, it's 11, so it's about 3 hours or 4 hours, I guess. Look, okay, $5,010. You know, I just bought a new truck, and I thought I was going to do something differently. I've been blessed. I could pay for the truck, but I think I'm going to start trying to take bigger positions and see if I can pay it off. My payments are about $3,000 a month because I didn't want to make long payments, so I said I'll pay it off in 2 years. And but I'm going to start attacking trades like this, taking it, and see how quick I can pay off my truck. So anyway, all right, 4 by 26.33. Do it. I'm just going to do it. Close enough for me. Boom, I filled at 35. Let's go back and look at the balance sheet. Okay. There we go. For that $200 plus the $4,800 something I made, $5,094. That trade's closed and done. Money's back into my account. Pretty awesome, huh? All right, have a blessed day. Thanks for watching.